So good evening, everyone. This is Fincy here. I welcome you to this Lifeline Connect forum of Deborah Rise Movement. Deborah Rise Movement consists of a team of vibrant individuals envisioned to advocate for women, children, teens, families, and focused on serving people from all backgrounds. DRM functions in four aspects: Helpline Connect, Lifeline Connect, Prayer Connect, and Social Connect. Today, you are here for Lifeline Connect, a forum that addresses life's challenges, ultimate questions of life, and shares the real life stories with the hope of impacting society and creating awareness. As part of today's deep dive apologetics forum of DRM, today we have a talk by Dr. Latha Christie here. Dr. Christie is a senior scientist with the Government of India for the past 37 years. She has done her master's and PhD in aerospace engineering from IISc Bangalore. She has written books on the boundaries of science and religion and is a speaker on various forums. Today's topic is an interesting one. Gazing into the infinity of the sky has always triggered fundamental questions in human beings. And humans are in search of answers to the questions of the meaning, origin, and destiny. How did the universe come into being? What role do human beings play in it? Are we alone in the universe? Or do aliens exist? What keeps the stars and planets in their orbits? Which laws govern their paths? Was it a pure chance that brought them into being, or is there a higher being behind it all? Today, we know more about the universe than ever before, and it is very vast. This vastness of the universe can actually make these questions more intriguing. And what answers can we give to these questions and engage with anybody who asks us these questions? So today we have Dr. Latha Christie, like I mentioned, and she will be speaking to us for a few minutes, and then I will be right here for the question and answer session. So, Dr. Latha Christie, over to you.
Yeah, good morning and good evening. For me, it is morning here. This is a very interesting topic. I feel many of the youngsters have this question. They have asked, are there aliens? And if they are, when they have they come? So whether there are aliens, and if there are aliens, what is our significance? That's very important topic, and Fincy has introduced it in a very beautiful way. Thank you, Fincy, once again. And let me start this talk on why we are so special, and there are any other planets like Earth anywhere else in this universe. So let me share my screen. From the beginning, what was there? It was only God, nothing else. People define God in different ways. So let me define the God of the Bible. He is outside time dimension of the universe. We can see space, X, Y, Z, and time. So he's outside the time dimension. He's outside the space dimension of the universe. And then is also the God who is so personal, came down to this planet in human form, and he has sent a spirit who lives in us. So we are just walking as the address of God. It's so amazing. The God who created the time, space, and matter is in our heart. So that is the God I'm speaking about. And this God, Bible clearly says he created the heavens and the earth. So what is this heavens and the earth? So many call this in different languages. People call this as Andasarasaram or universe or some other words. The word universe is not in many languages. So here you can see here, this is the solar system. In front of the universe, we are just a tiny, tiny, tiny dot, not even a tiny bit of sand. So that is the vastness of the universe. So I wanted to just show you initially about the vastness of the universe and then take you on a journey. So if you can see here, this is the Milky Way galaxy, and we are just a tiny dot in the Milky Way galaxy, this whole solar system. And this Milky Way galaxy is width is 3,000 light years, and the length is 100,000 light years. Light travels at the speed of 186,000 miles per second. That's the speed of light. That's the ultimate speed. So with that speed, if you travel from one end to the other, you need 100,000 light years. And if you want to count the stars in just a small portion of this galaxy, you will take 2,500 years if you start counting one by one every second. So that many stars and that much huge it is. And this particular galaxy is part of a Virgo cluster. So here, this Milky Way is just a tiny dot. We saw here Milky Way is too huge, but here it's just a tiny dot. There are so many massive galaxies like Milky Way. And when this universe is expanding like a bread, you keep it in the oven and it expands. The universe is expanding and becoming bigger with each passing day. So people ask questions: where is this universe expanding into? Does it have an edge? Will it have a limit? So I wanted to tell you that this universe is expanding. It doesn't have an edge because you can see here, I showed you the Virgo cluster in the last slide. Now this Virgo cluster is just a tiny dot in another supercluster called Laniakea supercluster. So this Laniakea supercluster like this, lot of superclusters are there in the universe. Now you see Milky Way galaxy and Virgo cluster, and that is part of Laniakea supercluster. That is part of the universe. So what is our significance? We are in a very huge universe. So, but wherever, for example, now fictitiously, if you just go by a spacecraft and you land somewhere, now you are at the center of the universe, let's assume. And every galaxy you can see, it will raise away from you. Now you go to the next galaxy. Again, you feel you are at the center. That's why earlier people felt Earth is the center and Sun and others are moving around. But that is a feeling people always get, like, because everything is raising away from you. But actually, Copernicus brought a beautiful revolution, and he said Sun is the center and we are moving around it. This is the universe. And Laniakea supercluster is just a tiny dot here. So this is the observable universe. There are so many things beyond observations. We can observe 100 billion galaxies and 93 billion light years from end to end. Now you imagine how huge our universe is. That's why Carl Sagan said, we are like a cosmic dust. We are not significant at all. We are just floating in this cosmic dust. And there is no purpose, there's no end. We just die like a cosmic dust. So many who take up Carl Sagan's thought, like Neil deGrasse and many people, say that view because of this vastness of the universe. When you look at this vastness, you feel insignificant. So let us see at the end, are we insignificant or are we special? Either one of that. So now questions to ponder. So now let us see whether this universe came into existence just by accident, and we are on this lonely speck called Earth, or it was brought by an eternal God for a purpose. Or like Carl Sagan said, we are floating irrelevantly, without any reason, irrelevantly around this vast and dark cosmos. Or is there something more to our existence? Our earth is just like that formed, or somebody has designed it, or we are ape-like descendant, or we are created. So these are all two diametrically opposing beliefs. But what is the truth? So that is more important to our existence. Because sometimes when we go through suffering, we have the question, is there a God? That is a time we need to be sure of our answer. This is recently there were a lot of theories for this existence of this universe. First, people said that universe is just that and that's all, because it was a steady state theory. Universe was eternal. It existed forever. And then people said it was oscillating. But everything was proved false. But finally, now they are believing that universe started at single point called Big Bang, some 13.7 billion years back. So this they were able to find out based on the light, the first light that started. Bible clearly says the first thing that happened is let there be light. Even as per the Big Bang, the first thing that happened was light photons started emerging after this dark universe, 300,000 years. So this light photons, at one time, people were looking through the antenna, and everywhere from microwave frequencies, they were getting in their antenna something. Then they found this first light that was emitted 300,000 years back is now here seen in the antenna in microwave frequencies. So the universe is celebrating its existence. So that is why we know that the first thing that happened was light. So now who started it? If something had a beginning, if something had a cause, there should be something behind it who started it. So either there should be an eternal universe or eternal God. So now there is no eternal universe. It's a finite universe. It started at one point. So the eternal God becomes more significant because that is the way we can define. Either one of that has to be eternal. And next, theory of everything. Stephen Hawking is trying to find who started this Big Bang. And he was trying, and Einstein was trying, and many people tried, and finally they died without finding out. Why? Because they wanted to find out the theory of everything. They had to marry two theories, general theory of relativity and quantum theory. But they could not quantumize gravity because gravity is so powerful. And when they could not quantumize, then they could not find this theory of everything. So this how started the universe or how it started is still a question mark. So we are knowing for sure as believers of God, in theory of everything may not exist, but God of everything exists. He is the one who said, let there be light, let there be a universe. Bible clearly says the voice of the Lord is powerful. The voice of the Lord is full of majesty. Stephen Hawking finally tried to bring his own theories, and he said, if the universe started at one point and if it has come out of nothing, then there should be a law of gravity which started it. So he brought in his book, that is because there is a law of gravity, universe created itself. But then we can ask him the question, who started that gravity? That gravity also should have, that law should have a beginning. So finally, with everything, if you see, the God of everything brings more sense than any other thing. And next, so my first argument was eternal universe or eternal God. Then we have this where if something is started, who started it? So I believe it should be the God of the Bible. And the third argument is scientists are amazed that all the fundamental forces and all the constants are all so finely tuned. It's like you stand here and aim at the beginning of the universe, 13.7 billion years back, and you hit it bullseye, how it will be. That is the way this fine tuning is, because gravity has to be set 1 part in 10 power 31. Our stars could not support life. Density of the universe should be 1 in 10 power 24, or there will be no stars or planets. Similarly, all the four forces of nature, gravity, electromagnetic force, strong and nuclear force, everything is finely tuned. And if small changes, we will not have our periodic table. We need carbon for our body. We need oxygen. Nothing will exist. There will be a universe with no elements. If a small, tiny change, and Stephen Hawking was amazed. He said, when the universe started expanding, it started with a critical rate of expansion. Even 1 second after the Big Bang, if it would have been, the expansion is slightly different, the whole universe would have crumbled. What is it that breathes fire into the equation he's questioning? But still, he could not understand that it was God. There are so many constant: mass density, weak nuclear force, gravitational constant, charge of proton. I can go on. Around 123 parameters of the universe are so finely tuned. Universe is standing on the knife edge of its existence. If you see, this is, for example, if you assume this is a universe creating machine and you are just going into space and you find this mission and you are trying to set the dial of all this 123 parameters, and you just slightly change one parameter and the whole universe would crumble, what would you decide? Is there a designer behind it, or it came on its own? So this fine tuning shows that there is a fine tuner behind it. There is a designer behind it. That's why Paul Davis says, Scientists are waking up to now an inconvenient truth that the universe looks like a fix. Like you might have read the story of Goldilocks. So it's just right, not too hot, not too cold, not too far, not too near. So everything is right. So he says that there is for me powerful evidence that there is something going on behind it. The impression of design is overwhelming. Even the atheistic scientist Fred Hoyle says a common sense interpretation of the facts suggests that a super intellect has monkeyed with physics, chemistry, and biology. And so now you think, is it intelligently designed or it came by chance? So this is for us to wonder whether it's intelligently designed or it came on its own. So this is my third argument. The first, I said that eternal universe or eternal God. And then the second, I was telling that there is a God because science cannot answer some of the questions. And I'm not trying to put the God in the gaps. So this third one is fine tuning. The fourth one, are there extraterrestrials? Yes, people wanted to find out, are there extraterrestrials or are there any aliens around? Because this is very important. Many have tell that they have seen aliens, they have seen some UFOs, but finally when people try to go through that in detail, it's not an UFO or anything. It is some solar flare or military flares or some planets or something that sort they might have seen. So why they are not able to find? That's why Fermi, a great scientist, he was working for the Manhattan Project, and he one day looked at his colleagues and said, there are so many planets. Where are they? Are they hiding? Are they scared of us? Where are they? So, now with so many Kepler space telescopes and many other telescopes, people have found so many planets revolving or rotating around the sun. They are called as exoplanets, but nowhere they try to understand how it is, whether they have liquid water or something. They could not find any trace of life. So that means I'm not telling there may be some aliens, there may not be, because we have sampled only a small portion of the whole universe. In that sample, what understanding we got is something different. Our Earth is so special. There are no other planets that we know is like Earth. So, what is the requirement for life? We need carbon. Carbon, because for our DNA, for our proteins, we need carbon. We need liquid water, and we need the temperature 0 to 100 degrees. It should not be hotter than that. And we need something to cycle the elements, and we need abundant sunlight and temperature stability. All are requirements for life. And Earth is the only one that has every requirement. It's called as privileged planet Earth. So why Earth is so special? Because if you look at our galaxy, Milky Way, the location of our solar system within that is so important. The location is everything. This is like, for example, in the center of our Milky Way galaxy, there is a big black hole. If you go close to that, we would be sucked inside. And if you go away from the galaxy here, there will be no elements for carbon or something. So we are in the right place here, not too close, not too far, so that we'll be able to have elements and we will not be sucked inside some black holes. And next, life zone, that it's called as habitable zone. Around the sun, there are so many planets that revolve and rotate. So in that one, there's a small narrow zone in which life can exist because of the right distance, Goldilocks zone. And our Earth is in the right habitable zone. Next, about our sun. There are so many sun type of stars. But our sun, if it would have been little larger, then it would burn fast and it would be unstable. If it would have been little smaller, our rotation period would be too long. So it is the right size. Even the sun, we have 4 planets which are terrestrial planets and 4 planets which are Jovian or gas planets. So Earth is terrestrial so that life can exist. This is our Earth. and design of our solar system. When God designed our earth, he put a big Jupiter there, big Saturn there. Why? Because this is very important. It protects us from comets and asteroids. This is Saturn and this is Jupiter. It's called as a great protector. Shoemaker Levi, one big comet that came, and instead of hitting us, it hit Jupiter. Because of this big gravity, Jupiter grabs everything inside. And instead of hitting us, this comet hit Jupiter, and there was a big plume of dust that we could see from here. We would have all been consumed if it would have hit us today. So here, this is the way God has designed. And even our moon is an amazing moon, because no other moon is like our moon. It has, the size is bigger compared to any other moon with respect to their planet. Why this is very important? How this is formed? A big object collided with our Earth, and a portion of our Earth came out and became the moon. That's what scientists believe. And when it clashed, Earth axis was tilted to 23.5 degrees. So we have a tilt in the Earth's axis, because of which we have seasons. We have our northern hemisphere faces sun half the year, and southern hemisphere, so that we have summer, winter, and all the full area of the Earth can be occupied. Otherwise, one side it will be very cold, the other side it will be very hot. So moon also stabilizes the Earth on its axis. So the moon is very important. And next one is, we have this tectonic plate. We have this earthquake, volcanoes. This helps in recycling the minerals, and we get minerals. So this is very important. And again, we have the magnetic field. Why Mars? People have visited Mars and they could not find any atmosphere or water because of its low magnetic field. Everything has been sucked because of the solar radiation, but we have the right amount so that electromagnetic storms or nothing could affect us, and we could hold on to our atmosphere. That is why it's very important. Let me combine everything because I wanted to have more time for question. Just the right relationship to the sun, the right distance and the right tilt, just the right atmospheric conditions, the right atmosphere we have, and right moon, right terrestrial planet. So it's at the perfect distance from the sun. The moon is the right size. The moon's gravity affects us, the position of our galaxy, the sun size, our atmosphere. We have an oxygen of 21% oxygen. It's everything is so amazing. Somebody has taken our earth so beautifully designed so that people like us can live. How much thought and wisdom would have gone inside this? Can someone look at all these things and think that there is no God? So now I wanted to show through all these things. There is an intelligent designer. The vastness of the universe, and people say, are we significant? If we are not significant, the God of the universe would not have come down as a human being to this planet to die for our sake on the cross and to redeem us so that we can be with him in heaven. If we are not significant, he would not have done it. But now he loved us too much. A baby is little, but the parents love the baby. That's why the baby is significant. And though the vast universe is vast, God loves us so much, and so we are significant. And now compared to when we look at the origin of the universe, we have found it is eternal God and not the eternal universe. When we look at why there are no aliens, we understand that Earth is so special. Fine-tuning of the laws and constant shows there is a fine-tuner. And there is the first life, how it started on this Earth, how chemistry became biology. That will be for my next talk. So with all these things, we can easily find that there is a designer. In US, there is a rock which is where all the it's in Mount Rushmore. So here, all the presidents' faces are engraved. If somebody looks at it and says it came by chance, somebody has automatically it came. If someone says that, we cannot believe it, right? In this side, an eagle's thing is engraved. That is automatically has come, but this faces cannot be automatically come by chance. So That is the way when we look at all these things in the universe, it's not by chance, it has not come by accident, it has come by design. So now I have George Greenstein. He's a aerospace scientist, and he says, as we survey all the evidence, the thought insistently arises that some supernatural agency must be involved. Is it possible that suddenly, without intending to, we have stumbled upon scientific proofs of the existence of a supreme being? Was it God who stepped in and providentially crafted the cosmos for our benefit? How great it will be if we think that we have such a God. So for me, evident that all the evidence shows that our universe is a specially designed universe with this fundamental goal and purpose to bring us forth. From the size of galaxies to the thermal capacity of water, from everything it shows that we are a designed one. So coming to this Genesis creation account, many people fight with this Genesis creation account. So let's not fight for the number of years. It can be 13.7 billion years, or it can be 1 billion, or anything. But the sequence given in Genesis exactly shows that there is a designer. That's what I have brought it in my book. See, Genesis 1:3 says the first thing God said is, let that be light. That's what now WMAP and many other telescopes have found. The first thing that started after 300,000 years was 380,000 years was the emission of light photons, which is now there around the universe in the microwave frequency band. The second, a perfect spot, a habitable zone God created. That's why he made walls, firmaments. He made so many areas, ozone layer. He made so many layer after layer to protect us, to put us in the habitable zone, to put us in the right place in the galaxy. So all these things God created. And the third one, if you see in Genesis 9 to 13, God brought mighty ocean. People were wondering where from this water came to the earth. Recently, they found some of the meteors have brought water from far away. It has brought to all the inner planets, Mars and Earth. But Earth alone could hold on to the water. The other planets, because of the lack of magnetic field, the water vapor evaporated, and we have plate tectonics, continents. Earlier it was only one continent called Pangaea, but now we have got all these continents. So all these things, God spoke twice, if you see in this one, in the day 3, because the difference between life, the first life started. So that is why it's very important, each and everything. And the seasons, God brought in moon, and he brought in rotation, revolution, and giant impact, and our moon, everything, so that we will be able to exist. So each and everything is so beautifully designed by the Creator with wisdom. Sun, moon, and everything is for our seasons. So that's why there are 2 books, Bible and science. Both doesn't contradict. Science doesn't contradict with theology. But Bible is not a science book, but it doesn't contradict. God is a God of order, not confusion. He demonstrated through the physical laws of the universe. Sometimes we wonder why we have to die, why we get into problems like this. See, we have to go through this aging process, all these things, because this is order God has set in the physical laws of the universe. But when he wants, he can intervene. When somebody is in problem, he can come, he can intervene, because he is the one who created it. So he ties the reliability of the physical laws to the reliability of his promises. Every word that God says is yes and amen in Christ Jesus. Bible says in Ezekiel 12:28, none of my words will be delayed any longer. Whatever I say will be fulfilled. So today in your life, if God has spoken something and it has taken a long time, believe that. Just look at the physical laws of the universe. God created. He has the power. He has the wisdom. He has the wisdom in our life. When we think that everything is getting delayed, God will come at the right time. He's not a God of confusion. He's a God of order. And also he's a God of wisdom and power. He has made everything beautiful in its time. He has also set eternity in the hearts of men. Because when we want eternity, where will we go after we die? And Bible clearly says, Jesus said, I'm going to prepare a place for you in heaven. Once I go, I'll receive you to myself. So it's so wonderful. Heaven can be beyond multi dimensions. We don't know, but it's going to be awesome. What it is, how it is. And so Jesus Christ is the power of God and wisdom of God, Bible says. Bible also says through Jesus Christ, everything was created, visible and invisible, thrones or powers, rulers or authorities, whatever angels, every type of angel, everything was created by Jesus Christ. That's why he came down to this planet, to this puny, tiny, dirty planet in the form of a human being. And he died for our sake on the cross, and he was resurrected. That's why we can boldly ask him. I wanted to finish with a small story, real story. Just 3 weeks back, in our church, we had a little boy who was on ventilator. His name was Jake. Everybody were praying. It was a very difficult case because his brain was infected and because of dengue, and he was on ventilator. And I didn't have hope initially when I was praying. Suddenly, I remembered that I was also once upon a time on ventilator. And then I started to pray. God was giving me burden. I prayed and I felt like some angels are working on the infection of his brain. And I just thought in my spirit that he will be healed. He will be alive. I was sure that he will be alive. Then I wrote to my pastor that, don't worry, he will come back to life. And I was scared what if my words come wrong? But then I prayed a lot. And today he's alive. He's out of ventilator. So that is why, when we believe in a God, he's a God of promises. He keeps his promise and he speaks to us. And we can boldly ask him anything. And he tells us, he gives us confidence to ask. And he has given us a spirit in our hearts, so that we can commune with him and we can listen to us. It's not that every of our prayers are answered, but he will answer most of our prayers as per his will in his time. So we can trust him. We can trust him at all times. So there is, for a Christian, joy is essential because everything can be haywire. Everything can be wrong, but our God cannot be wrong, and he will do the right thing at the right time. Those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. So that's why he gives us eternal life. So in this world, when we die, Bible says, I will give him the water that wells upon him, wells inside him to eternal life. So let's hope for the best. And see, I wanted to finally show, people say this God of Bible is a God of gaps because you're trying to insert the God when the gap, wherever scientific gap is coming. But biblical God is not the God of the gaps. Something from nothing is there are real gaps, life from non-life, reason from non-reason, morality from non-morality, beauty, love, compassion. So everything we need God, not only for the gaps, but for everything. So that is the way, without God, nothing is possible. So if you have any questions, you can ask me.
Yeah. So thank you, Dr. Latha Christie, for that wonderful talk, and thank you for talking about so many things that we often think about, but we never get answers for, or we might just push aside. Okay, there is somebody who has a question. So, Jayanti Vupula, yeah, you can ask your question, and Dr. Latha will answer it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Latha. It's always a joy to hear from you. My question is about intelligent design. I often discuss these aspects in the marketplace, in the corporates that I work with. So what I hear is there is theory of evolution that explains the evolution or how we came about, how creation came about, how earth and the life came about. But what is the equivalent of an intelligent design or a designer from the science perspective? Because intelligent design or designer is the origin, and the cause is the evolution, right? I hope I am putting it in the right way.
Evolution of what? Evolution of human beings
Universe,
you're telling, or universe you're telling?
universe, Dr. Latha.
Yeah, see, God has set the laws, He has set the constants in motion, and the stars, for example, if you take our Milky Way galaxy, it was formed some 10 billion years back, and the stars, our star, it is not the first star. The first stars which formed 10 billion years back had to burst like supernova, and then it sends out elements. Then the second set of stars came, and then the third set. So this third set had a lot of elements which can give rise to life. So it was set in motion. So that is why the galaxies and stars have formed. So that is, if you can call it as evolution, it's okay. It is evolution of the celestial bodies, how it evolved. The initial point of the Big Bang, if it would have not been exact, then all these things would not have formed. That is why the starting point and all the things have to be so precise. But now coming to the evolution of life, I don't believe there is macro evolution. There can be an adaptation or micro evolution, because scientifically, as I have tried to understand and I have written in my book, and I will speak in my next topic, that there are a lot of gaps. For example, when we try to see how did man have come from apes, there are huge gaps, and it cannot be closed. Through evolution, whatever process you use to explain, it cannot be explained. And people have tried to find out some transitional fossils to fit in between man and apes, like Neanderthals and so many things. After some time, when they find the real things, it would be either apes or either human beings. There was not proper transitional forms found. Is that fine, Jayanti? Your question?
My question was more of, um, there is a scientific theory, like you said, that explains how the cosmos is formed. Like you explained, different stars and finally the habitable stars and all of that. Is there a scientific equivalent that talks about intelligent design?
See, intelligent design is what? There is a designer behind it. For example, if the universe started with exactly the precise starting point, the exact expansion, the right laws, the right constant, the fundamental constant, 123 parameters, everything had to be intelligently designed. So now you're telling the evolution happened. So this is a theory. The stars have formed, and from this, but intelligent design is part of it. How it formed, how it is created from one step to the other. And for example, now in human evolution, or in even animal evolution, they found that a lot of parts, for example, DNA, or hands, legs, or something, whatever, eyes, everything is there in different animal beings. So they just think that gradually it is evolved. But what if the intelligent design concept says that I have a common design? For example, if you give it to children that small blocks, they make building blocks out of it. So that's a common design. So if there is a common designer, he will use the same building blocks and will make different types of things. That is what they say from intelligent design angle, that there is a common building block used to make different types of things. And here, in the case of universe evolution or others, the intelligent design group says that laws are set by an intelligent designer, and universal constants are set by an intelligent design. So now, if there is no intelligent design involved, it would be chaotic. So I think you need to combine this evolution of the stars and galaxies with the intelligent design behind it. That's what I tell.
Yeah. Anyone else that would like to ask a question? So, Dr. Latha, in the meantime, I'll ask my question. So you did talk about how science and scripture go hand in hand. You gave us a perspective of the Bible and also the perspective of science. Now, at the fast pace that our world is moving, do you think that science can ever replace religion? and what exactly drives man to know the why of things, or where things came from, and why is that so important to us? Could you throw some light on that?
So your question is, will science take over religion, right?
Yeah.
And
And
why we have
why?
this ultimate question of man is inquisitive from the beginning. When we look at this sky, we see the stars and we wonder where from this came, who started it, how it came. And when we get problems in life, or when something else toward the end of the life, when we go, we have the question, where will I go after I die? What will happen to my life? So these are some of the questions which comes to everyone. And because unless we know the question of origin, who brought us into existence, we cannot answer the question of destiny. Where will I go after I die? And then sometimes, again, when sometimes people look at everything and say, is there a meaning to life? Is there a purpose to life? And many people do suicide because they don't find any purpose to life. That is ultimate question of life. And also this next question is, science can replace. And right now, see, religion, people think that it has a lot of rules, and people who don't want to follow any rules or anything. And a lot of immorality is rising above. And if you subscribe to Christianity, you cannot do so many things because it's truth. You cannot lie, you cannot get into a wrong way of life. So people think that, okay, I want to abandon religion. So if they abandon religion, what they will replace? So they have to explain all these questions, right? Question of origin, question of destiny, question of morality, and all these things they try to explain with science. That's why there is some temple called scientism. Scientism temple are here everywhere in the US. So, but what is the thing is, can it explain why we love nature? Why we love the smile of a little baby? Why we love one another? It cannot explain, right? So that is why I wanted to say that we cannot replace God with science. And also, this questions of life, ultimate questions of life, or becomes very important towards the end of the life.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you for unmuting me. So my first question would be, what are your comments on Mexican alien? Are they really mm, intelligent beings? Because once mm, Stephen Hawking has said that there are beings upon other planets who can be intelligent beings. So the Mexican alien is really an intelligent being, or you just think that it is just a hoax? And my second question would be, the water upon Earth is because of the carbonaceous chondritis, I think. Uh, and see, it brought it brought upon the Earth those water molecules, that huge water molecules upon Earth, so where the seas and the oceans are formed. Uh, so, and your comments upon carbonaceous chondritis, okay? And I just forgot my third question. It was there.
No, second question. Let me first tell about your first question, then you go to your second. So, first is Mexican journalist, like you're telling recently, he was an UFO enthusiast, right? And he said that he has found some mummified bodies with elongated heads and 3 fingers or something like that. Often, that's what he says, right?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. So he says like that, okay, everyone huddles around to get a better look, and he can prove that unlike anything known to Earth, it is. So, how he can tell that it is an alien body? He found some mummified bodies of some animal, and he claims that are some alien bodies. So, now, the same manner, a lot of people have told that I have seen aliens. I have seen UFOs flying close to my things. So it is because when you are enthusiastic about something, you find that thing coming to in front of you. So that's why I said Storm Area 51. And earlier in Kolkata, so many people saw a bright moving object. And even the TV channel said, we have found aliens. And it was a frenzy. But after some time, when they found it was a planet Venus that has moved. So, and sometimes military flares also people have seen. But this Mexican alien, it's a mummified body, and it can be of some creature or some buried some things, or we don't know what it is. So it is a mummified body. It is not from a outer space. How you know it is from outer space? How do you prove that it is from outer space? And what is this fellow bringing it? Till now, there is no proper peer-reviewed journal talking about these things. It's just somebody has seen something and they are telling it can be a prank or whatever it is. So I don't believe till now, even solid scientific proof, you go and see there are no aliens. Till now, we haven't found any aliens. And it is, and because space travel is very difficult, even if there are aliens, they cannot communicate because it's too huge. If you travel at the speed of light to go to the nearest star, Proxima Centauri, to go and come at the speed of light, you need around 10 years. Just a nearest star at the speed of light. Even 10% of the speed of light, it's difficult. So to travel to the nearest star and coming back in your lifetime, it becomes very difficult. Might be 500 years it will take. And before that, we will die and our generations will come. So it is very difficult. Space communication is very difficult. That is why even if they are there, looking at them, it becomes very difficult. Okay, now coming to your next question. What's your next question?
About carbonaceous chondritis. It's huge water molecules that were being brought to Earth's magnetic field, where the seas and the oceans are formed. And why I'm asking this is the Chandrayaan that has landed on the south pole of moon. They say that they have found out some water bodies, the hidden water bodies that's there on the south pole of moon. And if it is there really, does that mean that a man can live? Is it a habitual land for living human being? So your comments.
Yeah. So see, I told you at one point, they have found that because they were not sure what's the source of water from on Earth. So much we have a lot of oceanic water, and everywhere we can see water. 77% of water of Earth's surface is covered by water. So where does this water come from? So they try to connect this deuterium and oxygen levels to different waters from other meteors like beyond Neptune and others. Finally, they have found that some meteor beyond Neptune could have brought water. So if it would have come from there, it would have come to all the inner planets, and it would have come to moon also. That is why they were able to see streams of riverbeds on the Mars. They have seen because but there is no water. Earlier it was there. So how it evaporated? Because of the sun's rays and others, it has evaporated. But on Earth, we have a very good magnetic field which holds on to the water. And now in moon, also the water would have fallen. But moon was not able to hold it. It also has because of the gravity. But on the poles, it's in the form of liquid ice. It's not on liquid water, it is ice. And that too beneath the surface, it is there. So that's what they have found. So moon, if you want to colonize moon, there are some bunkers like lava tubes where earlier volcanoes were there. So it has made a lot of huge bunkers underground, because moon's temperature goes to minus 200 degrees centigrade. You cannot live there. If you want to live, you have to make a resort underground. So you have to take some robots there and make some resorts and try to see if you can make this water in the poles liquid, and try to see some oxygenation plant there. All these things you need to build if you want to make moon habit. You can live on the moon. Then also you need to have a bunker because there is no oxygen there. There is the temperature is too much, either chill, so cold. You cannot even take up that much chillness. So you need to do a lot of things on moon to make it habitable.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so and Jayanti has written the science is about how, and religion is telling like who did it. Yeah, science tells how God did it. That's what I believe that. But people take even science as a reason for everything. For example, everything automatically came by chance. When they believe that everything came by accidents, they believe science through evolution created everything. And but how a beautifully designed universe can come from chaos? They believe it has come from chaos or random or chance. But when you see the design, can a design come out of chaos? That's my question. So any other questions?
I got a question, Dr. Latha. Does science prove the existence of God?
Very much. Because I was telling today that the universe is created. It hasn't come on its own. There is one point. If there is a cause, there should be if there is an effect, there should be a cause. So universe is an effect. So there should be a cause. So the cause, who created it? So that shows there is a God because it started at a single point. And the second one, there are so many things that are so finely tuned. For example, all the laws of physics, the constants, everything is standing on the knife edge of their existence. If they slightly change this side or that side, no life can exist. So the universe is so beautifully designed. If that is, even atheistic scientists like Fred Hoyle says, a super intellect has monkeyed with physics, chemistry, and biology. So the fine tuning shows there is a fine tuner. And then our Earth is so specially designed. We have so many layers of atmospheres like ozone layer, and then to protect us, magnetospheres from meteors, all those things are there. And we have a very good magnetic field that holds on to our atmosphere. And all these things shows that somebody has designed it. And who is that somebody? We call him as God. So it indirectly points to the existence of God. And we have moral. We don't just like that kill people, right? Because something within us tell that this is wrong. So who put that morality inside us? And we have reason. How did this reason come into existence? How this logic? So now you think logically. So who brought this logic? There should be a logical being, a logos. So that's why all these things, and yes, science cannot explain why we love beauty, why we love one another, why there is something called smile, why people yawn, and all these things science can never explain. So there is something beyond it. And I'm not trying to put God in the gaps. I am telling God is a God of the complete thing. He is needed not only fill the gaps of science, but he is needed to explain science itself. Is my answer fine?
Yeah, there is an associated question as well tagged to it, is because the focus lately for all of our humanity is more focused on science, because we look at science more than or beyond science. And that's where the focus is more relying on science, and science can give us the answers and give us the pointers to the beginning of, but also science does not give us the reason behind this creation, right?
Yes. The
So,
cause and the effect.
I think you did answer, so thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So,
Akka, this is Sunil. Akka, can I ask you another question? Akka, this is Sunil.
yeah.
Can I ask you?
Yeah. Please
Akka,
tell me.
Akka, how would you explain this? In the beginning, God said that there would be light, and the light was there. And after that, there are two great bodies. One is sun, and the other is moon. So for the day and the night. So what was the light that was created initially and the sun? The difference.
Okay, see what I wanted to, I have written in my book this explanation. See, the first thing God said was, let there be light. So as per the Big Bang theory, that, for example, the universe started at zero of this point, at a single point. After 380,000 years, the atoms started to form, and till that time, the trapped light photons were released. So when the light photons were released, the light started to travel. But the stars and galaxies, the most of the light happened because later stars and galaxies formed, and the stars were bursting as supernova, and the whole universe was covered with light because of that. But the initial thing that happened because of the light photons that came out when the atoms that were trapping it released it. So these light photons right now we can see as CMB, cosmic microwave background radiation. Two scientists, when they were looking through their antenna, they thought that some noise is coming from everywhere. They tried to remove the pigeons and everything, but finally they found that it is the first light that started after the Big Bang. The light photons that traveled is now in the form of microwave radiation. That shows that that is the first light. And the second one, what I told about our sun was formed only 5 billion years back, but the universe was formed 13.7, because this is a population 1 star. This is a third generation star, because it has to be population 1 so that elements can be there. And then I said that a big body hit against our earth. And so a portion of the earth came out and became the moon. And the moon was the right size for the earth. And it also, it tilted the earth by 23.5 degrees so that we can have seasons. So all these things I was telling as the bigger light and the smaller light, it's mainly to guide the seasons and to give us the rotation and 24 hours day and night.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
My name is Hannah. I'm 9.
Okay, Hannah, tell me.
Why is the earth round?
Why is the earth round? Why is the earth tilted? Because see, you know, that I said 23.5 degree, right? And round is because of gravity. Okay. If there is something called gravity. Do you know if you put an apple up, it comes down, right? And your leg and everything is rooted to the ground because of gravity. If you are sitting in spacecraft, you'll be flying around. But now you are stabilized. Similarly, gravity pulls everything inside. So now this planet has a gravity. We have a massive gravity, not like Jupiter, but little lesser than that. So this gravity pulls everything equally on all sides. So that is why it is round. Overall shape of a planet is a sphere. We have to call it as a sphere, not round, in 3 dimension. Any other thing? Is it understood?
Yes.
So what do you want the shape to be?
Flat.
It looks as though we are standing on a flat earth, right? Right now. But it is round, it's a sphere. So if there are no other questions, what if you find aliens? What would you do? By chance they could find? I said there are difficulties in communicating across space, so we could not find even if there are aliens. But if we see alien, it is not against Christian faith. There can be, God can create beings. It is not against biblical faith. Bible is silent about aliens or anything. So
just because you're talking about that, I suddenly got a question from. So I was watching a documentary on Sunday about aliens on Earth, and I often hear this. Do you think that the Nephilims that are mentioned in the Bible, saying sons of God that came down on Earth, do you think they are what we consider as aliens?
Nephilims, I think they are some big mysterious beings, right? They are large and strong. So I don't feel they are aliens. They are created on earth, right? In those days, might be the Bible calls them as fallen ones. Some people connect them to angels because but I am much not sure of Nephilim. It's something of evil, and it's something of mystery who lived before and after the flood. That's what Genesis and Numbers speaks about it. I feel they are giants. They might be giants, not extraterrestrials. Anybody else has an answer for that? Okay. Thank you so much.
Or I might have a last question, Dr. Latha.
Tell me. Hi.
Or if there is time, just wanted to.
Yeah, time
why
is there.
the why the God of the Bible attributes to the creation story? What I'm meaning saying is why the God of the Bible is the God who created this universe, not other gods.
Okay. So God of the Bible is a God who is, Bible clearly says, is eternal. He is beyond time, space, and matter. And he is the one who's created, and he's uncreated. He's a first cause. All these things Bible clearly speaks about the God of the Bible. So now what I wanted to say is, if there are other gods, many of the other gods are part of the universe. But biblical God is beyond the universe, and he is God who is also involved in our lives. So this thing separates him from every other god. For example, Islam talks about a God who is beyond space and time, but he is not involved in our personal life, and he is far away. He is created, and deistic God also speaks about the same. And New Age philosophy and other religions speaks about a God who is part of the universe, who is also so many gods, and who creates and who destroys, and they are all part of the universe. But if I see the scientific proof, the God who created should be beyond the universe, should be beyond space and time, and should also intervene when needed inside the universe when I look at the quantum mechanics, because at some minute level, there are mysteries, even scientific mysteries. So I believe the God of the Bible makes more sense compared to any other gods with respect to creation.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Latha.
Akka, can I ask one more question, if time permits?
Okay.
Akka, can science answer the sun standing still in the Joshua's day?
So sun standing still in Joshua, it can be a natural phenomena, right? It can be like for some time, people, see, I wanted to tell this one. When you interpret the Bible, when you write, people, the authors of the Bible are guided by God to write. But they write from their experience. They write what they understand, what they can grasp. In those days, when they don't understand about solar eclipse or lunar eclipse or any special phenomena, they just look at it and the sun stands still. So that's why they have written that. But whatever it is, at that time, God could have brought in a real natural phenomena, or God could have done a miracle. So we are not sure of it. And it is standing still means it for him, the sunlight did not go for quite some time, right? The sun standing still means what he meant, because he is able to see the light. That's what continuously is able to see the light. It's not becoming dark. So it can be a way of some natural phenomena, or it can be a miracle. But I wanted to say that is why many people get confused. The writers of the Bible write from their own experience. That's why evening and morning was the day, evening and morning. So people say it is 6,000 years based on evening and morning, evening and morning. It can be a revelation to somebody, and for him, it could have been a 7-day revelation, and it could be a evening and morning. So interpretations vary, but biblical truths doesn't change. So Sunil, I am not sure what has really happened, because I'm just a mere human being. But if God writes, the sun should have been there continuously, and the war was won on their behalf.
Yeah. Thank you, Akka. Thank you for your interpretation. Is there any chance of having the time delayed in the days of Joshua?
I cannot imagine because I don't want to put my own interpretation what Bible has written because I am not God. But the thing is, if it is there, the Bible, the sun stood still. There was sunlight continuously, and it should have been. And I feel mostly it's a natural phenomena where you could see the sunlight for a long time. That's what people say. I have tried to understand that for a long time, but I don't want to comment on that one exactly.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. BBC News has told that just because of the rotation delay, there was a certain seconds of time that was being corrected in the IST,
So that and
Indian
this will
Standard
not
Time.
have, Sunil, that and this will not have. But the thing is, the longest people have understood the Cambridge, there are some of the researchers, they said that biblical account of Joshua stopping the sun might be one of the oldest eclipse ever recorded. They have recorded an eclipse around 3,000 years ago, 3,500 years ago. There was an oldest eclipse, it was recorded. So they can relate this story to that oldest eclipse where it was being recorded. I feel that it's one of the eclipse. That's what I believe. Because when Joshua and the Israelites entered the promised land, they waged battle against the 5 armies. At that time, Joshua prayed to God that to help the Israelites by stopping the suns, right? So
Yeah,
it can be an eclipse. So the sun stands still upon Gibeon and you moon in the valley of Elon, right?
yeah, yeah.
So I
Yeah,
feel it's one of the eclipse. They stopped moving. Sun and moon stopped moving. That's what I believe. I don't believe anything because they stopped shining.
Thank you, Akka. Thank you for giving your time.
So thank you, Dr. Latha, for spending time here and giving this talk on science, God, religion, and how everything comes together in the perfect plan. And I want to thank everybody who came here today, and you are such an engaged audience, engaged listeners, and all of you asked questions, and hopefully Dr. Latha was able to answer to the best of what you needed. And so with that, thank you for being here, and hope to see you for the next session. And have a good night or good morning to you, Dr. Latha.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Fancy.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.